Have you ever taken an herbal tincture? For centuries, people have been making medicine from plants, and one of the most common ways to create medicine from plants is by making a tincture. But today, I want to dive into this topic a little bit because we've made tinctures together in the past. And many of you wanted to know, is there a way to make tinctures without alcohol? Specifically, kid-friendly tinctures, tinctures you can give children that are going to be safe and effective, but no alcohol. And I've got you, mamas. And so today, that's exactly what we're going to dive into. I'm going to show you some non-alcoholic alternatives to tinctures, and we're going to make some together. So let's start by talking about the way to make a traditional tincture. Now, we made one together when we made a tincture out of lemon balm and tulsi for my husband Josh. You remember that? So when we make a tincture, normally we use vodka, and you want to use an 80 proof vodka or 40% alcohol when you make your tincture. And alcohol is by far the best medium to pull all of the properties out of your plant matter. So it really works well for tincture making. The other benefit to using alcohol is it keeps for a long time. So whereas if I just filled my jar up with herbs and I stuck it on my shelf, I can plan for those herbs to be good for about a year, and then their quality is going to start to break down. But if I put those herbs in alcohol and I turn them into a tincture, it's going to preserve them, and they are literally going to be good for decades. So tinctures last a really long time. The alcohol is a great preservative. So that's the main reason that herbalists lean towards using alcohol tinctures. Stronger effect, longer shelf life, and they're very easy to make. But if you don't want to use alcohol, that's totally valid. And there's a lot of reasons people feel that way. For instance, maybe you are in recovery. I have a lot of close, dear friends that are in recovery from alcohol or drug addiction, and it is non-negotiable for them. They will not consume alcohol, even in tincture quantities, which in a typical dose, you're getting like an eighth of a teaspoon of alcohol. It would be comparable to, a cough syrup that contains alcohol. But for some people, they just are not willing to even take that amount, and that's fine, totally valid. Now, if you're one of those people and you're like, I don't want to use alcohol, you have two options. So you can make a tincture. It's not technically a tincture. We'll get into that, but you can make a similar type of medicine by using either vegetable glycerin, or you can use apple cider vinegar. So both of these preparations give you a similar effect. We're going to pull all of the medicinal benefits out of our herbs and put it into a liquid medium. And then to take the medicine, we're going to put it in a little dropper bottle and just take a few drops. Now, the vegetable glycerin is really the most popular option for children. Most children's herbal formulas are made with glycerin, and it's technically called a glycerite if you make your tincture out of glycerin. Vegetable glycerin is sort of a byproduct of making fats. So it's always going to either be made from soy, palm, or coconut. Now, I would recommend that you do your research and find a good quality organic vegetable glycerin, preferably one made from coconut if you can find one. Mountain Rose Herbs offers vegetable glycerin in big containers like this that would be safe and effective and tested, and their formula is great. So I will link them in the description for you so you can find some vegetable glycerin and make this at home. Now, vegetable glycerin is thick and it is sweet. It is a naturally sweet, syrupy type consistency. Your kids will take this because it tastes good. The downside to using glycerin is shelf life. Whereas an alcohol tincture will last for years and years and years, you've got about 6 months with a glycerite before it starts to go bad or go rancid. So you want to work in small batches and only make what your family is going to use within about 6 months if you're going to do a glycerin base. So let's make a glycerite together. How about it? I thought today we would make a glycerite out of one of our most popular herb blends, and that is Flu Balm. Now, many of you have probably already tried this tea. It's been the best seller in our shop for like 3 weeks in a row. But Flu Balm is a blend that I came up with that's good for colds, coughs, flu, all that kind of stuff. And it contains echinacea for immune support, Tulsi, which is an adapting herb that helps your body adapt to stress, like the stress of being sick. It has lemon balm, our beloved lemon balm that calms the nervous system. It has nettles, which gives you a great infusion of minerals, which you need when you're feeling under the weather. It also has goldenrod, which is going to hit seasonal allergies that can be contributing to sickness. It has hibiscus for liver support, and hibiscus also is wonderful for immune support. And then it also has mullein, which helps with lungs and helps you get all the congestion out. Mullein's good for cough and croup. And then lastly, it has peppermint. And peppermint opens the sinuses and it tastes good. So we also take Flu Balm not only as a tea, but as a tincture. And I thought we would make a glycerite together, or a glycerin style tincture out of Flu Balm. So here's how we're going to do it. Now you can either grab your own herbs, or if you want to grab a bag of Flu Balm from our shop, it's in the loose leaf tea section and I'll link it for you. But you're just going to take a little bit of your Flu Balm and put it in a jar. And I'm going to fill my jar about 1/4 of the way full with Flu Balm. And there you go. Let's smell it. Oh, it smells so good. It smells really minty. And as a tea, this is an easy one to get kids to drink because it tastes so sweet and minty. But there you go. So we've got our herbs in the jar, and now we're going to add our vegetable glycerin. And as we add it, you're going to see how thick this stuff really is. So we want to add enough to cover our herbs. And because it's so thick, it's going to take a minute for them to kind of soak this up. We're going to take a spoon and we're going to stir it up and really let that glycerin work down into the herbs. Now, there's not a lot of a scent to vegetable glycerin at all, but it is commonly used. In fact, you probably have some in your house right now and you don't even know it. If your kids like to eat things like fruit snacks or gummy bears or Starburst candy right after trick-or-treat season, all of those kinds of things contain vegetable glycerin. It's a really common ingredient. So once it's mixed, we have kind of a thick, gloppy kind of mixture. And I'm going to add just a little bit more vegetable glycerin to this. Now, just like if we were making a tincture out of alcohol, we're going to let this sit. And we're going to let the herbs sit in the medium, in the glycerin, and soak up all of the goodness. So basically, we're going to let this sit for a month. Now, you could go longer. You could go 6 to 8 weeks, but go at least a month. And you want to put a lid on this. You're going to shake it once a day to keep it kind of stirred up. And then after a month, we're going to strain it out. And when we strain out the herbs, the liquid that is left behind is the tincture, or the glycerite in this case. And it will contain all of the benefits of these herbs. And the good thing is, instead of drinking a whole cup of tea, you're going to get an even more concentrated benefit, but you're only going to need a few drops. So with tincture making, I compare it to like drinking 5 cups of tea and taking a dropper full or 5 drops. So much more concentrated, and it's a way to get this medicine in your kids, even if they won't drink tea. This is sweet, and so I feel sure they will take this for you. So I do not offer glycerites in my shop. I know someone will ask. We do not sell tinctures, but we do offer the herbs for you to make them. So you can either buy a blend for focus or Flu Balm or hormone support or for sleep and then make your own, or you can buy your individual herbs and then tincture them individually, and that works too. All right, let's set this dirty spoon aside. And we're going to move this one to the side. And now I'm going to show you another method. So this is our glycerin. And it's so thick. It reminds me of when we made the hair serum out of castor oil and rosemary. You remember that? How thick that castor oil was? Similar thing here. Okay, so if you don't want to use the vegetable glycerin, I get it. Then your other option, and probably like the cleanest option with no alcohol at all, is going to be a simple apple cider vinegar. And we call this an Oxymel, and you do 50% vinegar and 50% raw honey. It needs to be raw honey and raw apple cider vinegar with the mother. That's important. So let's make an Oxymel together so you can see another method. So same thing, we start by putting our herbs in the jar. For this one, I'm going to do our Hormone Harmony blend. And we are going to make a hormone support Oxymel. And just like we did with the last one, we're going to fill it up about 1/3 of the way with our herbs. Now the hormone blend, it smells good. It has raspberry leaf, which is wonderful for PMS and for cramps and for just regulating the cycle. It also has spearmint, which lowers testosterone levels for my PCOS women. Spearmint is so wonderful. It also has hibiscus for liver support, which is important when your hormones are a little out of balance. It's got lemon balm and tulsi, which are great for the nervous system and to balance and to help with stress. And it's got nettles, a good mineral infusion. So this is like a daily tonic that you could take for hormone support. So if you struggle with, irregular periods, or if you're dealing with menopause symptoms, you could make this and then you could take a few drops each day, sort of as a daily tonic. So we've got our herbs in the jar, and now we're going to add apple cider vinegar. So we're going to go about 1/4 of the way full with apple cider vinegar. And then we're going to go the rest of the way with honey. Now, you could just infuse your herbs in the vinegar, and you could add the honey later when you strain it. But I like the herbs to infuse in the honey too. Honey can actually hold a lot of the properties of herbs, and kids usually like the taste of honey. So even though there's vinegar in this, it's still going to be sweet, and you're probably going to be okay to give this to a kid. It just depends on how picky your kid is, to tell you the truth. But we did half honey, half apple cider vinegar. We're going to put a lid on it, and we're going to shake it. And we want to combine it all together. And then this, just like the glycerite, and also just like if we were making an alcohol-based tincture, it's going to need to sit for at least a month. You can go longer. I always let my tinctures go 6 to 8 weeks, but that's just preference. At least a month, though. And you can see the honey and the vinegar kind of already mixed together, and we've got a good little concoction there. So this one is called an Oxymel. An Oxymel is 50% vinegar, 50% honey, infusing over herbs. This one is called a glycerite. It's going to be 1/3 full with your herbs, and then you're going to cover it with glycerin. Both of these are going to sit in my pantry for about a month, or maybe a little longer. And then we'll strain them out and we'll bottle them up in amber dropper bottles. And I just like using these because it's convenient. You could totally store this in a mason jar and just dose it with a measuring spoon. And a dose would be 1/8 of a teaspoon to start, and you could go up to 1/4 of a teaspoon. You want to take it up to 5 times a day. I usually start people on a dose of 1/8 of a teaspoon twice a day, and we increase if needed. But these are some options to help you make tinctures that don't contain alcohol, so your kids can use them. And you can use all of these blends from shop or blends you create yourself to make your own medicine. So this is a fun project. You can even get your kids involved and have them help you make it, and they might be a little more likely to take it that way too. But just know There are many options for making medicine with plants, and our kind and loving Father has given us all the plants we need for health and wellness. It's just a matter of learning how to use them. So give it a try. Make a glycerite, make an Oxymel, or make an alcohol-based tincture. But the big idea here is to not be afraid to work with herbs and learn how to use them as medicine for your family, because there is an herb for everything. Whether you need help with focus or sleep or respiratory support or autoimmune issues or joint pain, there is literally a whole world of plants that God designed to treat the very things that we struggle with. All we have to do is learn to use them. So stick around, come back next week for another lesson, and we will continue to learn together how to use these good gifts that God gave us. Be blessed, friends.